William Makepeace Thackeray was one of the great figures of Victorian literature. He was born in India in 1811 and educated in England. His father died when he was only 4. He trained as a lawyer but gave up his studies to devote himself to literature. He travelled on the continent and studied drawing in Paris. Much of his early life was clouded by misfortune. He became the proprietor of 2 newspapers, both of which failed. He invested his money badly and lost most of his fortune he inherited from his father. His wife became insane and made several suicide attempts, and one of their 3 daughters died. But his Paris sketchbook, published in 1840, was a moderate success, and he resolved to write a similar book about Ireland. He arrived in Dublin on the 4th of July 1842 and spent the next 4 months travelling around the country. On leaving Waterford, he travelled westward through the county until he reached Cappoquin. There, the beautiful Blackwater River opened up before us, and driving along it for 3 miles, through some of the most beautiful rich country ever seen, we came to Lismore. Nothing can be certainly more magnificent than this drive. Thackeray loved Lismore, its castle and especially its cathedral. The church with the handsome spire that looks so graceful among the trees is a cathedral church and one of the neatest kept and prettiest edifices I have ever seen in Ireland. In the old graveyard, Protestants and Catholics live together. That is, not together, for each has a side of the ground where they sleep, and so occupied, do not quarrel. The sun was shining down upon the brilliant grass, and I don't think the shadows of the Protestant graves were any longer or shorter than those of the Catholics. Is it the right or the left side of the grave that is closer to heaven, I wonder? Look, the sun shines upon both alike, and the blue sky bends over all. In 1830, a big bell was installed. This was silent for many years as the housing had rotted and it was dangerous to pull. In 1995, thanks to a bequest, it was fitted with a hammer and now works electronically and rings the Angelus twice a day. The churchyard is a peaceful place and has been left in its natural state with tombstones, trees and shrubs enhancing each other. Several new trees have been planted recently to replace the huge beech tree that had to be taken down in 1995 and which was the last survivor of 3 that were planted when the cathedral was rebuilt in 1679. St. Carthage's Parish Church was officially opened in 1884. Designed by W.G. Doolan, it is seen as one of the finest examples of Lombardo-Romanesque churches in Ireland. Old red sandstone, quarried locally, and white limestone were used in the church's construction. The bell tower rises to a height of 120 feet above the richly detailed facade. A statue of St. Michael the Archangel stands on a pedestal between the 2 main doors. Above the doorway is a mosaic of Christ the King with the first and last letters of the Greek alphabet at either end of the arch over the mosaic. An arcade with statues of saints crowns the doorway. A rose window framed by the symbols of the apostles may be noted above this. A statue of St. Carthage stands in the alcove above the window. St. Carthage's Church is largely the creation of Dublin-born Walter Doolan, 1850 to 1902, and was erected between 1881 and 1884. Doolan trained as an architect and was the son of a builder. His experience in both fields and his skill in catching the mood of the period brought him contracts for many churches. His masterpiece is the Gilhooly Memorial Church in Roscommon. Doolan's churches present an imposing exterior and a colourful and ornate interior with much stained glass, mosaic and painted ironwork. Lismore is one of his earlier churches and his only work in the Italian Romanesque style rather than Gothic. The church contains some interesting stained glass of the Celtic Revival, notably a set of 3 windows commemorating saints associated with Lismore: Cathedral, Carthage with contemporary picture of the castle, and Coleman. Lady Louisa's Walk is a riverside walk and is named after Lady Louisa Cavendish, the eldest daughter of the 7th Duke of Devonshire. A responsible young lady, while still in her early teens, she took on the duties of running the Duke's households following the death of her mother, Lady Blanche, in 1840. She continued work on one of her mother's projects, the gardens at Lismore Castle, and with her love of the outdoors created a number of nature trails along the banks of the Blackwater and now in the shade rivers. Many of the paths she followed have returned to their natural state, except for the eponymous walk, preserved and open to the public to enjoy today. Access to the walk is through the black and gold gates located on the town side of Lismore Bridge. From 1932 to 1944, Adele Astaire and her husband, Lord Charles Cavendish, resided in the castle. After her husband's death, she remained a faithful visitor to Lismore, often accompanied by her brother, the film star and dancer, Fred Astaire. Across the main street from the Heritage Centre, you can enter Millennium Park. On the left you will see this large waterfall. The stone used in the building of the waterfall was originally part of the railway bridge outside the town on the main Lismore to Tallow Road. On this side of the park is an ice house. A plaque on the wall there details the history of the ice house. Millennium Park was developed by Lismore Mochida Development Company Limited in association with Waterford County Council. Lismore Canal was dug in 1793 to link Lismore with navigable reaches of the River Blackwater further downstream, and was in occasional use as late as 1922, when the railways were severely disrupted by IRA activities. Kate Douglas Wigan wrote in Penelope's Irish Experiences in 1901, "If you want to fall head over ears in love with Ireland at the very first sight of her charms, take, as we did, the steamer from Cappoquin to Youghal and float down the Vale of the Blackwater.